Welcome, everyone, to Tammy Tuesday's podcast of Life, Love, and Purpose. We're happy you're here with us today. I'm super excited. I have two of my favorite people with us today as a pair, a duo, because that's exactly what they are. These are the founders and creators of Next Level Performance Consulting, forgive me. And they have created so many amazing things in the wellness space. And when I say wellness, I mean all things wellness. So I'm grateful that they're here to kind of share their story and share the reason they've stepped into the purpose that they're serving for this world, because they've done some amazing, beautiful things. We've been friends now we just were saying this, since 2019 early. So right when I started the magazines.
Coming up on 5 years.
I know. Thank you both for being here. I'm so grateful you're here.
Oh, thank you for asking us to be here.
Of course.
Honored.
Good. I'm glad. So speaking of when we first met, this is kind of a fun story because I remember, I'll never forget it. Eric and I were at our first official black tie event with the magazines, and we were fish out of water because this was not our space. It was not our tribe, but we were doing fine. We sat at this table with a great group, and literally we're sat next to Mycal. And by the way, I didn't say their name. Mycal, did I say Mycal and Nicole Anders? I think I said your names. And Mycal, of course, super chatty, great guy. He was sitting next to Eric. And of course, they were like kindred spirits immediately, which is no shock. And it was so fun. We had so much fun just getting to know you and talking. And we were wondering where your spouse was. And all of a sudden, Mycal goes, "See that badass woman up there?" He's like, "She's mine." And we're like, "You're with her?" Because Nicole was running this event. Mm-hmm. I mean, this was your event and you were running it, and she was buzzing around the room. Everybody knew her. She was directing, pointing here, there, doing all this amazing stuff. And the event was incredible. So anyway, it was really fun seeing him talk about, that's one of the reasons I wanted you together, because you two are such a cool pair. And I love how you talk about each other. It reminds me a lot of my relationship with Eric.
Thank you.
And that was no exception, was the day we met when you spoke so highly about Nicole, which was really cool. And Nicole had nothing to do with us because she was way too busy to even acknowledge the table at all, which was fine.
I don't even know if I sat down.
She did make sure that I got an extra plate.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yes.
Important.
She knows what matters.
Those events, man, the portions are a little small.
I know. That's true. They are. That's true.
That's why me and Chef Marcus.
I was just going to say, thanks to Marcus.
That's right.
We know Chef Marcus. We love him.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was really fun. And of course, throughout that evening, we didn't get to know Nicole yet, but we got to know Mycal quite well. And I said, we need to get together. So I scheduled a time to come in and see you in your gym, which you still have, which looked different then.
Yeah, we've made some significant upgrades, and, the mission we serve has always been fitness, but it's now evolved with intention. We are fitness, healing, and mindset. And it really makes us unique in the space because there's plenty of folks that dabble in one or two of those modalities, at varying levels, but nobody's doing all three at a high level. And we've just put the finishing touches on our healing center. So nice. You come in, we take care of your fitness. We offer functional fitness classes, one-on-one personal training, nutrition coaching, all the things that go to optimizing performance from an output standpoint. And as our practice has evolved, we realize that there's something missing in the routine, right? We have a lot of members that at one point had an additional membership somewhere else to, go get red light therapy or exposure therapy with an ice bath and infrared sauna and compression therapy. And Nicole knows this. In the early days of our marriage, we got together right about 2 years into HQ, which was CrossFit PHX at the time.
Right, which was award winning, by the way.
Yes.
I mean, you were crushing it from very early stages of this, really. I mean,
we were rated the number 1 CrossFit box in America.
That's a huge deal.
Thank you.
Huge deal.
And I'd through that first 7 or so years coming into the pandemic, I'd always been jonesing that something was missing, right? We wanted to give our clients a Division I experience. You know, she hooped at Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Well, I was going to say you both were incredible athletes and very active throughout your entire lives.
You know, we both, I played football in college. We both segued from athletics into bodybuilding. And because of me, she found CrossFit, you know, and it's like, man, like there's a piece missing. And in, you know, the benefit that I've had in my career is client longevity. And after a while, the conversation transcends 6-pack abs and getting off your meds and dropping body fat. And we start talking about like real shit. Can I cuss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be you. Just be yourself.
He's going to cuss.
Warning, kids.
And that was kind of the impetus for the Leaders Forum, you know, which is where we focus on mindset and use the power of the collective and the energy in the room to help you manage the other 23 hours of your day where you're not with us. We have been grooming that for, we in year 8 with that now? 7?
Well, 16. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, back up for a second. We're going way too fast.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Because I want to set the stage a little bit for
Sure.
how this evolved and where it came from. And that starts truly with you as people.
Yeah.
100%.
So, because that's a huge, important piece of this, because that's one of the things that for me, I was drawn to when I met the two of you was you had much bigger vision. And that was very apparent. It was apparent with who you knew who you were. Mm-hmm. And that's the first key to anything that you do to be successful in your life on every level, you know, not just what you do for a living or anything. It's really anything that you do. And that was the one thing that stood out for me when I met you and got to know you both. Because when I came to after that event, when I came to meet you at the gym, and we started talking, of course, you ended up advertising with me, which was super cool. And I was honored that happened. And then finally I got to meet Nicole, and it just sort of evolved into this friendship and connection that we had with each other, which was so cool. And then of course that evolved into so many different ways we partnered together and worked together over the years.
Yeah.
Okay. So backing up and talking about Nicole for a second here. Yeah. So this was such a cool piece because when I met you, you were a personal / executive assistant and busting your ass. Mm-hmm. I mean, busting your ass. Mm-hmm. And that was what you were doing. You, at that point, the two of you, even though you were involved with the gym, of course, because you're married and you're a pair and you're doing this together. And also they have 2 kids, and their kids were babies when I met them. We were just talking about that too. They're now 5 and 7. Yeah. But I mean, they were babies when I met them, literally. And, you were doing your job, your work, Nicole, and Mycal was focused on the gym 100%. Mm-hmm. And so you were kind of separated in what you were doing.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit, because there was a big division between what you were doing and how you were living and what your goals were. What did that look like for you?
Yeah. Well, I think it started in 2019 after we had met. The job had become so big. It had taken over my life. And with a 1 and 3-year-old at home, I had nothing left for them nor my husband. Mm-hmm. And I woke up on a Saturday morning and...
let alone yourself. Hello.
100%. I mean... Right. And at that time, I thought the 1 hour working out a day was all I needed. Was I majorly wrong? But I woke up on a Saturday morning and pretty much had a mental breakdown. And I was like, I cannot keep living like this. This is not the wife, the woman, the mother I want to be. I called him and I said, I need to resign. I'm going to start crying.
I get it. These were big moments.
Yeah. I was like, I need to resign. I have no idea what this is going to do to us financially. But I cannot stay in this role any longer. Mm-hmm. And he said, we'll figure it out.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I have goosebumps.
Yeah. And so that was in the summer of 2019. I did start an event coordination business.
I remember that conversation leading up to that.
Yeah. And I was like, I'll start my own business. I'll be in charge of my hours and, all these things that now, I'm in charge of, but at the same time,
Talk about that journey a little bit, because that was a big piece of it.
I realized that all I had done was create another job for myself. And I didn't love it. And I knew I didn't love it when COVID hit, and I refunded people and events were canceled, and it didn't bother me.
Well, there's your sign. Well, first of all, your first sign was you chose a business. Both of you were in a business that was really hit by COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Tremendously hit.
Yes.
I'm getting goosebumps talking about this because I'm your friend, and I remember that was tough.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you, Nicole, and you're like, I just started this freaking business and it's in events.
Yep.
And you're like, what the I mean, really.
Yeah.
And, but you know what? What you were just about to say is what's so cool. You said, you know what? I wasn't loving this anyway. So there was your sign.
It totally was. And when I had to cancel the events and, refund people their money and things like that, and COVID was happening, I wasn't scared. I wasn't fearful about what was happening because I saw it as an opportunity for...
Was it a relief?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really saw it as an opportunity we sat down on the table, at the kitchen table, and I said to him before we jumped into business together, and I said, look, this is as poor as we are ever going to be. Like, we can't get any more poor right now. Mm-hmm. I said, so whatever we're going to do, we need to decide right now and create the life that we want to live together.
This is our moment.
This is it. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the universe telling us, like, hey,
totally,
you get to do a reset right now. And that's how we looked at it.
And what a gift. You saw it as a gift because it was.
Oh, totally.
It was a gift. And you were like, let's do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, I knew my genius and working behind the scenes and crossing the T's and dotting the I's was a big piece of what he had been missing to get to creating the bigger vision that he had always had for what at the time was CrossFit PHX and now Next Level. I knew I could do that with him. And I wanted to do that with him instead of working for somebody else, building their life or creating events for somebody else. This is our life now that we get to do this together. We're
team.
Yes.
Team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So when she said that to you, Mycal, I want to talk about this because this is why I love you guys so much. I do. I really do. Because you showed up, like she said, this is it. And you're like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. What I actually said was, finally.
Yes. Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's what Eric said to me when I had my moment. So see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in our relationship, as we've unpacked things and evolved our practice, and, we're the guinea pigs for everything that we do. Mm-hmm. And
which is the best. Yeah.
Well, when we started, implementing our stress assessment for our clients, we use this platform called the Berkman. And as we unpacked that, we came to the awareness that we can say the same thing in two totally different languages.
Explain that.
And that has led to numerous moments of friction and getting heated, but we're after the same result, right? She processes things from a timing and a system standpoint,
which is how you've always operated.
Yep.
Right. And my genius is in who and what. I don't care about how.
Right. You're the big idea guy. Mm-hmm. And she's the executor.
I'm only worried about it, whether or not we're going to have a good time with the people we do this thing with. The rest will figure itself out.
That's right.
Right. So you can imagine that,
the friction.
She wants all the details. And I'm like, I don't have the details yet. All I know is that this is a good idea. We'll figure it out. Right.
Well, and that's called a calling.
Yeah.
You're like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm trusting.
Well, and in our relationship, both in business and in our marriage, that's been the dynamic. I'm the abstract one. you know, and if you look at it from a gender role standpoint, you know, she's very linear and process driven, you know. We can't move to A. We can't move to B until we check A, and I'm already at Z.
Right.
You know?
She's like, slow down.
But it's great because, you know, from where I sit in our relationship, while my head's in the clouds, she puts my feet on the ground.
I was just going to say, you balance each other out entirely on both sides.
And where she's very cautious and methodical, I'm like, just fucking jump.
Yeah.
You know, so
you do.
Yeah.
Well, the thing,
I've gotten better at it.
Oh my gosh, so much better.
Yeah.
that's what's been so beautiful about it, is the thing that used to cause us so much friction is now the thing that makes us a super couple.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we now embrace each other's superpowers and trust when she tells me to slow down. Yeah, it's still frustrating and a pain in my ass, but I'm like, okay, I'll listen.
Right.
I'm,
get it.
I'm way less resistant because I know that it's coming from a place of, you know, you're not
The highest good.
Yeah. You're not trying to stunt me, you know.
No, she's not trying to change you. She's just
me.
trying to help you.
It's like, no. Like, there's some things that need to happen first, Mycal. I'm like, but why?
She's like, just trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the same token, it's the same thing the other way around too.
Yeah.
Nicole has been very regimented and organized and, like you said, methodical about her operations and how she functions in life. And you're like, just jump.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing, and that's the thing that's so beautiful about the two of you. And I feel so strongly about this. And this is why I knew I wanted you on together, is because there is nothing more beautiful in this life when you can step into partnership with someone, especially your partner, like your real partner in life, and serve and step into your real purpose and why you feel like you're here and how you're going to help the world.
Yeah.
But first, you're pouring into you.
Yeah.
The best part about it, from how I see this with you two, is that you pour love into yourselves and you recognize what's serving me, like Nicole stepping out saying, I'm done. Yeah. Like, this is not serving me. Yeah. I'm not happy. And she said to you, I'm done. And you're like, it's about time. I saw it a long time ago. It's hard for us to see it in ourselves a lot. Totally. I mean, it's really hard. And when you have a partner that can see it in you and allow it, that's the challenging part in relationships, is that as we grow and evolve, we are constantly changing. I mean, you guys are two totally different people than you were now from when you got married.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I mean, right? Totally different people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we all change constantly.
Yep.
We're constantly shifting and changing.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you guys have done this so beautifully together and evolved together and appreciate it and share it is just, it's awesome. It's so awesome to see.
Well, I think that, you know, being married and in business together, and we intentionally go after and surround ourselves with what we call couple mentors, people that embody who we want to be, not only as individuals, but as a husband and wife, right? And one of those, you know, core values is like, they're in business together, right? And the level, what I've taken from those experiences and that mentorship, if you will, is the level of vulnerability that you have got to be comfortable with is so deep.
Oh yeah.
And
it's another level.
It transcends, you know, because you know everything. There's nothing to hide.
That's right.
You know, the books, business decisions,
everything's transparent.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm coming home late, you know, like, yeah.
You can't hide.
And you just have to be, also have to have a level of honesty about your fears.
Oh yeah.
And in the work that we do now in the mindset end of Next Level, like that is a lot of the unlearning and reframing that we help people through, is because
unlearning, talk about that. That's so true.
If you hold that fear close to the vest any longer, now you're the one in the way of your own progress.
Definitely.
Yeah. And unlearning is probably my favorite part of what we do, because it transcends everything. Your relationship with your body, your relationship with food, your relationship with others, your relationship with yourself. And so much of that has to do with the imprinting of events and people that happened at a point in your life where you didn't have the awareness to understand what was going on, or the skills, the vocabulary, the hindsight to think your way through it. And now it just sticks with you.
Right.
Right. And now the thing that defense mechanism that was there to protect you through that season of your life is now the thing that's in the way.
Right. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. They're blockages that we've created for ourselves that keep us from really staying open.
Yeah.
And receiving joy and experiencing love.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite questions to ask our clients is like, do you really believe that? Not from I'm not trying to cast doubt or make them feel stupid. I'm like, do you own that belief?
What do they say?
Who gave that to you? Whose face is on that? Or is it truly yours? Because if it's truly yours, okay, we can work with that. And at the same time, if it's not, and most of the time it isn't,
right.
Well, now we got some unpacking to do. And that's the real work. It's not about getting you to a 400-pound bench press or, six-pack abs. No. That's a result of what we're going to do right here, right now.
See, that's the cool thing about what you're doing and what you have evolved into with this business and what's behind it is truly soul work. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's soul work.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with your body. Mm-hmm. It has to do with what's inside your body.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, because it's so apparent. And the people that gravitate to you and the people that are part of this, they understand that. And like you said, there's unpacking to do. Mm-hmm. We come here and we have these experiences and things that happen in our lives that suddenly give us these false ideas of who we are.
Yeah.
And it's not who we are at all. Mm-hmm. In fact, we are all those things completely stripped away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so explain that a little bit. How now, when somebody comes to you, where do you start? How do you really get someone to get real vulnerable?
Yeah.
Because that's what it takes. You are stripping them naked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how does that go?
It's fun. That's a great question. And I'll just tell a story. I get started with a client and we fix the consistency piece. Right? Because most people, the gateway is the tangibility of fitness, right? Am I going to drop body fat? Am I going to lose some pounds? Right? Am I going to start to feel better? That's a very tangible result.
Right.
And we can get to that place.
Do people come to you with that's their motive?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. We can get there pretty quickly.
Yeah. That's why that's their pain point. That's all that they know at that point when they come to us.
And that's what makes them come to you. Whatever it takes to get there, at least they're there.
Right.
They have some kind of emotionally significant event.
Yep.
Some 5-year-old with no filter called them fat in the grocery store,
right?
Or something
deep,
like
buried deep.
They put on the lingerie and didn't get the response from their husband that they were looking for. You name it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but what we help them understand is that all of that is very much a symptom of something deeper, right? But that you can't attack that immediately.
Oh, sure, no.
There has to be a foundation of rapport and
trust,
physical vulnerability involved. One of the things that we get to experience in sports is, as my dad would call it, seeing each other emotionally naked. When practice gets really hard or the chips are down in the game, how do you show up?
Right. True colors.
You can't hide that part of yourself, right? But that is also a circumstance that if you're not an athlete or you don't come from the trenches of the Marine Corps, there aren't a whole lot of people and or circumstances in 2023 Western society where you're up against that.
Yeah.
So there's a period of discovery where people are finding out about themselves.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so I'm working with this client and she comes in and she's distraught. Like something is off in her universe and she can't quite put her finger on it, but she knows she's supposed to be here with me.
How did she find you?
Through our network.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I train a couple of other guys that play golf with her husband. And
So it was kind of a referral.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
Because I always wonder, because there's a lot to that too, how people find where they're supposed to go. So keep going.
on the other end of all of this, it's like, oh shit, you have to go to the next level.
Right.
Right.
Because people get it that are there, that are experiencing it.
But what I'm describing to you is really tough for you, the individual moving through this experience, to explain.
Sure.
Right. Because
You're on your own path.
It's so yours.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, what's going on? You know, 'cause a big thing for us is being present. Like, we're right here, right now. Like, whatever the hell else is going on, like, we can't mess with that. And it's obviously not important enough for you not to be here.
Right.
So let's be here.
Right.
And if we can't, well, then,
Be wherever you're at.
right. I'm like, so let it out. And it, you know, high-powered businesswoman, owns every other aspect of her universe. And this is her space to just
be.
Crocodile tears, man.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, just whatever it is. You don't even have to tell me what the hell's going on, right? Just purge it. Get rid of it, you know? And on the other side of that purge, if we're still not going to get anything out of this session, well, then we got what we needed. Right?
Right. Because that's what happened.
Yeah. And an absolutely incredible experience. And now we can now we're out of problem mode and we can get into solution mode.
Wow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can start having that conversation and moving through that process as to what the next best course of action is.
What a gift too. So when she experienced that, when she allowed that process to happen, because that's exactly what was needed for her in her own path. And you allowed it for her. You gave her the safe space to do it, which is huge for people because you have to be a safe place for them. Otherwise it'll never happen.
Correct.
So the fact that you were able to give that to her, how did she feel after that process occurred for her?
The word that just jumps off the top of my mind is just grateful.
Yeah.
I didn't make her do anything.
She chose.
You know, but there's so many people in our space that would have just forced her to train through it. You know, it's like, well, we're here, so let's just train. I'm like, you're not fixing the problem.
Right.
You're introducing stress to an already peak state.
Right.
And you're making everything worse. You're creating inflammation in the system when the intention is to de-stress the system.
Yeah. You started at the root.
Yeah. So it's like, let's get that out of the way so that we can do what we need to do in here. And if the doing is nothing, that's cool too.
Right. That's what it's meant to be. That's what you need right now.
Which is the healing center.
Okay.
You're not going to train today. You're going to go do this ice bath. Then you're going to go sit still in the sauna.
Man, be quiet.
And it's crazy to me, you know, how counterintuitive that is for people. Because we're in this hustle culture where we're always moving. And
people don't know how to do it.
We're always doing the thing, you know, and we're on to the next meeting. You lived that life. She lived that life.
Isn't it amazing?
I was deep in that when we were building HQ. And
well, when you live in these bodies in this world, it's hard not to live that way. Like you talk about learning.
Unlearning,
Oh my gosh. I mean, unlearning, that's
I think
huge.
We are just bombarded constantly on social media to achieve.
Yes.
By what you do as a mom. Are you at this event? Are you volunteering at this event? Are you throwing this type of party to, you know, all the things you need to have at your home, to your work? Like, it's just like more. And it's like, at some point, like, where's the gratitude in what we already have?
Right.
Right. We just, instead of achieving more, you know, what Mycal has taught me and what we really teach our clients is just to be grateful in the moment and also be great. Take the time to be grateful and just be.
Yeah.
Go for a walk.
Yeah.
Sit in the sauna. Like, those are all things that I thought, I was like, oh, I don't have time for that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But I need to do that for myself.
Oh yeah. It's for your survival.
Right. And then what you find out on the other side is how much more productive you are when you actually do those things.
Isn't
for
it
yourself.
amazing?
Yeah.
I know. Well, that's the whole premise of this entire process that I'm going through and why I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And that's what I talk about consistently is that people don't get quiet ever.
Yeah.
They just keep going to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's destroying people.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
100%.
I mean, it's totally counterintuitive. It's not productive. It tears people down. It wears them down. So they can't do anything. It's like you were saying, you came home from working your butt off, running one thing to the next, to the next. There was nothing left inside of you.
Nothing.
Oh yeah.
So how the heck are you supposed to serve anybody if you can't serve you?
Yeah.
So it's true. I love that you're telling people that because for me, that's what I talk about too. And on my journey and what has changed my life entirely is just getting quiet with myself and remembering who I am inside.
Yeah.
Because I had completely forgotten it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually a beautiful being, just like all of us are.
Yeah.
We're all so beautiful inside. We come here pure and happy and all we have is love. And we've completely forgotten that.
I look at our kids and I'm like, when does that leave you?
It's around the ages that your kids are at.
You know, like they're so in tune with what we do. You
Well,
know?
what great examples. This is huge. I want to talk about this for a second because this is so important for people. And when your children are young, I have 4 boys and
God bless you.
Yeah.
I know they're amazing. And one of my sons happens to be listening right now. My
I'm
oldest.
number 2 of 4, so I get it.
But what I was going to say is all we can do in this existence is be our own light.
Yes.
You cannot preach, you cannot teach, you cannot make anybody experience joy and love and happiness and peace for themselves.
Nope.
It's up to them. So all you can do is do it yourself and be an example. So for people that are raising children, the only thing you can do for them in life is be a light for you.
Yeah. I'll tell you, this is really funny because we have a studio at the house for Progress Always. And the kids are like, Dad, can we do a podcast with you?
Love it.
So I've shot an episode with Tristan. I've shot an episode with Cameron.
Oh, love that.
And it was a really unique opportunity for me to check in with them. You know?
Oh my gosh, I love this.
And
I'll be doing this, by the way.
It blew my mind, the inherent abundance that they live with.
Yeah.
My son thinks we're rich.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Because you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you are.
You know,
Right.
my daughter, our daughter, thinks that life can't get any better. She has everything she wants and needs, right? And here we are as parents, like just pushing and pushing and pushing to build more, get more, give more. It's like in that moment, they have everything they want.
Yep. Well,
they're doing okay.
That's all we are inside. We're that. That's what we are. That's where we came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to relearn. We have to remember how to be what we are, which is that.
Yeah.
That is all we are. So I love that. And the fact that you have kids that are getting exposure from you on how to live a life like that, they're at a huge advantage. Huge advantage. I wish I had woken up to myself a long time ago. And there have been nudges in my life consistently trying to say, wake up.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen and kept doing the things.
What
and
was
kept
one
going.
of the ones you didn't listen to?
When I almost died.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost died. And just a quick, what happened was, for people that are listening, I had a spontaneous carotid artery dissection. What the hell is that? Why? Completely healthy, normal woman, physically active. I had just had my last child, and all of a sudden, my world is rocked because I had a headache, and it was like something's wrong. Then my face started to droop, and people are like, something is going on. Well, of course, the doctors over time, no, you're fine. It's just a migraine. Well, my mom was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So finally, when they discovered after doing an MRI that I had this spontaneous carotid artery dissection, they're like, how the hell are you still walking around? How the hell are you still alive?
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. So I have this experience and I'm in the hospital for an extended period of time. And they decide to put me on blood thinners to just help the arteries correct themselves because they were too afraid to put me on a table.
Right.
And my family's looking at me. I mean, I'm in a hospital room and my whole family is at my bed crying.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going to happen to this woman?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them like, what's wrong, guys? Like, it's okay. I'm fine. I had zero fear of dying. I really was very comfortable with whatever was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I did have a lot of fear around what was going to happen after I left.
Yes. Yeah.
For what was here. I had a baby. I mean, I had a brand new baby who was 3 months old.
Yeah.
And I had, 3 other children and a husband who's like, what is going to happen? And the doctors are like, I don't know.
Eric's like me. So like,
He is like you.
no.
Oh yeah. I know. That's why I love you guys. Cause you do.
Life without her. I tell the kids all the time, like, hey, you better hope she keeps coming home, because if it's just you and me, we're in a world of trouble.
But you're not, and you're not. You know that's not true. I know. But you've gotten better at learning that that's not true.
No. It's definitely, it's tongue in cheek for
Right,
sure.
of course.
Yeah.
But there was a time when you probably did genuinely feel that way.
Well, she asked me routinely, like, how did you make it this far without me?
Nicole, I ask you the same question.
but I tell them, the point of that really and truly, but after all the humor and everything, is for them to understand and appreciate everything that mom brings to the table.
Right.
Like, it is my mission for my son, through my example, to understand what and how a woman should be treated.
Right.
And through her example, for our daughter to understand what it is to be a strong, independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
these are beautiful examples of things that they're very lucky to have, and not just those roles, because these are just roles we play in this life. I mean, this isn't really what it's all about. These are just roles we play. However, the fact that you, not just that, from a human perspective, and respect and love for each other and what that can look like in your life.
Absolutely.
And why that's meaningful. But it's much more than that. It's I'm taking care of me first.
Yes.
And this is why I'm able to do that.
Correct.
Period. So it's huge.
Yeah. There's a lot of times, where as mothers, I want to go for a walk, or I'm going to go sit in the sauna, or I'm going to go sit in the red light room, and the kids want to be with me. They want to do everything with me, which as moms, you're like, oh, that's so sweet. They go to be with me. The hardest thing for me to say is no. I need to do this by myself. As much as I would love to have you with me, I've got to say no so I can go do this, have some time by myself, recharge, so that when I come back, then I can give you even more.
Right. Well, and the fact that you're even explaining that to them is what's so huge. This is one thing I talk about a lot, is that it's okay to say no, because you're saying yes to you.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
And when you say yes to you, it serves everyone.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, that's it.
Yep.
So just to end the story of the carotid artery dissection, after that whole thing happened, that was a huge nudge for me, because I did miraculously heal, which was shocking, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I kept living my life. Thankfully, that time passed. But to me, I know for a fact, because after I came out of that, I looked at life very differently.
How could you not?
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this can change really quick. And I thought, well, I'm going to live. I'm going to live. And I made some great choices, and I made some really shitty ones. And I learned from all of them, of course, but I went right back to my old ways. Yeah. And that's when it was like, again, damn, she missed it.
Yeah.
She missed it, which is okay. I wasn't ready.
Right.
We're all ready in our own time. And I also embrace that and say that to people. We are on our own path.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not up to anyone else to decide where, when, or what that looks like. It's nobody's business but our own.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Founder with Michael Keaton?
I don't think so.
The story of Ray Kroc and McDonald's. So there's this great movie.
Yeah.
You need to see it.
Okay.
And she was still in her executive assistant role at the time, and we're watching this, and I'm going through the journey of building Next Level. And there's a scene in that movie where everything is going to shit. And Michael Keaton walks up to this plot of dirt where they're about to build a McDonald's. And he grabs up a handful of dirt. And he says, I just need to be right one time.
Ooh.
And I hung on to that for a long time. And in that moment, I feel like that's where she looked at me one of the first times is like, I get you now.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, God, it's not gambling, but it's you got to stick with it long enough to get lucky once or twice.
Yeah. I didn't come from a family with entrepreneurs. The only thing I knew about entrepreneurs, my mom's mom and dad owned a laundry business, and all I ever heard was how miserable it made her life.
Oh, wow.
That's all I knew about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So
you thought, this is not for me. This sounds painful.
That's a really good question. I don't know what I thought. I knew that he loved it and it was his passion, and I was never going to make him do anything else.
So when you met him, and Michael is a force. So when you met, and even when you met, I remember hearing the story on our first double date.
Yeah.
You told us the story about how you met, which I also love. We won't go into the
That's
details.
the whole podcast.
Totally. I know. I love that. I do love that story. But I remember hearing that story, and it was like, you didn't quit. Yeah. You were like, I'm going for this girl and she's going to be mine. And eventually she's like, oh shit, fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was much more than that.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It wasn't like she gave in and it was terrible. It was beautiful.
Right.
But it's that go, like you said, I'm going to win something. I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
The one thing that I was really drawn to him when we met was he was just his drive and he was relentless. I found that super attractive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know, it may take him a while, but he's going to get what he says he's going to do. He's going to do what he said he's going to do.
He's on a mission.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like he was with you.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of other stories just like that too. So
right.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing. So sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. But I've had to reframe that recently. I had a moment just recently with a mentor of mine. And I told him, like the founder thing, because I love to tell it.
Right.
Because it's so...
It's meaningful to you.
Yeah. It's so demonstrative of the journey in certain points, right? He's like, with your permission and the relationship that we have, I'd like to challenge that. I was like, by all means. And he's like, it's not that you need to be right just once. You need to accept the fact that you've been right the whole time and your journey is your journey.
Yes.
And
ownership.
Right.
I fucking lost it. Just,
well, because you were like, it was a light bulb, aha, holy shit moment.
it comes back to trust,
Yes.
Trusting the path and it might take a minute, and when you're playing the comparison game,
Totally.
death sentence to your joy.
Yes.
Such
a death sentence.
I should be here by now.
Oh my gosh, we all need to cut out
I should have
comparison.
had this shit figured out. Like, to your point, you ain't ready, dude.
No. Well, and that's that is the takeaway of the whole thing we were talking about, which is we are all on our own paths and your path is beautiful.
Yes.
Everybody's path is beautiful. It's exactly what's intended for that person. And that is okay. And we need to accept it and stop comparing. There's no race. There's no finish line.
Yeah.
We never finish.
Ever.
Right.
Never. We pass on and we keep going.
Yeah.
So it's the judgment and the comparison. Most of the judgment comes back right to ourselves.
Oh, 100%.
Any judgment we make of another is our own judgment of ourselves. So it's all of that, but it's true. The comparison game drives me crazy. And social media, I've talked about this a lot. This is a challenge with social media. There's two things to this. And one of them for me is that I find it very sad that people cannot celebrate their joy. And that's judged too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that makes me sad because our world needs joy. Our world needs celebration. When somebody's celebrating something that makes them happy and joyous, it's immediately met with a judgment. That's not real. It's not authentic. They're trying to show off whatever the thought is.
Right.
I find it sad that we do less of that because we don't want to offend anybody. which it seems silly to me. But then the other side is people showing things that are not their true selves. And they show up with a facade because they don't want to be judged, because frankly, they're judging themselves and they want to look a certain way and be a certain way and all the things that come with it. Social media is a really tough place.
It is. Think about how you scroll social media, right? Like scroll, judge, scroll, judge.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you're posting yourself, I know this because I'm guilty of it. I'm thinking, who's ever going to see this is going to judge it just like I judge them.
Yep.
Right. So
it's a real thing.
It's extremely real. And I've had.
How do you handle that?
So now when I do it, because this has been a couple months where I've come to this realization, I'm like, I need to look at something. I'm like, as soon as a negative thought comes into my mind, I'm like, nope, that's what's possible.
Right.
That's what's possible.
Exactly. You bless it.
Exactly.
You see it for what it is because there's beauty in that. Why judge it? Why say it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I see this for what it is and it's awesome. Good for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more you're happy for somebody else, the more you receive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really allow that
Absolutely.
for people, it's huge.
I think a really awesome thought exercise as you're scrolling, you get triggered or you judge or you cast shade, whether you type it or not, keyboard superhero.
It's happening up here anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Just in that moment, be present with yourself. Be present enough with yourself to ask the question, like, what is it about that
What's triggering me?
that fucks me up?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, that's difficult for
what's
people
going
to
on
do.
inside of me right now?
Yeah, that's very difficult for people to do. I mean, that's a human challenge. And that's why having self-awareness and pouring back into you and being quiet and knowing what you are, which is a beautiful being, regardless of everything else, the comparing and the what's on the outside. First of all, I don't need anything on the outside to tell me how good I am.
Right.
So what we're seeing on social media, I actually think it's a beautiful design in this life. I think it was created and brought to people for a really great purpose, which is to say, it doesn't matter what you're seeing out there because that's not what this is anyway.
Right.
You have it all inside of you. So you're being challenged. I challenge you now to look at the social media that now has been presented in this world and to oversee that and realize that it doesn't matter. It's just noise.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's just noise.
Yep.
Yeah.
So get quiet, shut up, sit down.
Yeah. So you know how social media operates on an algorithm, right?
Yep.
And the more that you feed it,
Oh yeah.
the more it gives you.
The more it serves you exactly what you're looking at.
Do you realize that same algorithm is at play in your physical universe?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Every
thought.
If you seek obstacles,
They find
you
you.
will find them.
Mhm.
They will find you.
Yep.
If you seek opportunities, they will find you.
Exactly. Wasn't it amazing how powerful the thought is?
Mm-hmm.
It's a manifester.
Absolutely.
I mean, our thoughts manifest everything in our existence.
So like when we're in the leaders forum, I challenge that group and our clients, hey, start getting that algorithm working for you.
That's a great analogy when you compare it to
not just
social
here.
media. I love that analogy.
Out here.
Yes, that's a really, really good analogy because people understand that is how it works in that platform. It's the same thing in your life.
Right. Because when you look at that phone and you want to sit there and tell me that you don't believe in manifestation and that your universe is of your own creation, it's like bullshit.
Again.
Show me your phone. I'll prove it to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I love that. I'm going to use that. I'm just taking that. That's my nugget.
It's yours.
No, that's so good because that's so true. It's such a great representation of people that can gravitate and understand that in a worldly sense and really put it into their the way they live, their way of living.
Oh yeah. And what's really cool about that and what I find empowering for our people and in our practice is you realize that just like in your phone, you can choose what you take in
and what you reject.
And what you reject.
Yeah.
The same dynamic exists out here.
Yeah. So tell me, speaking of that, in your experience, both of you, how have you truly implemented that into your own life and your own experience as far as manifesting with what starts right in your thoughts?
You go first.
No, I can't. You're going to have to go first. Sorry.
She's manifesting her thought right now.
Right. So I was introduced to this concept coming out of a 4-year valley of my life after I got kicked out of school and I was trying to get things figured out. And that's when I was introduced to my personal growth and development journey. And I realized, and I actually just showed Matt this, one of our coaches, who I have a great and amazing opportunity to mentor our entire team in next level. I pulled out an exercise from a seminar I took part in 2007.
Okay.
And one of the exercises through that week-long seminar was mapping your life, you know, to the nitty-grittiest detail, you know, and in there is a description of the woman I'm going to marry.
Oh, I love this.
5'10", dark hair, light eyes, athletic.
See?
And all the bullets I thought I was dodging before Nicole, those women weren't for me because they weren't her.
Right. Yeah.
They weren't who I was manifesting. She was.
Yeah.
Right? My algorithm wasn't designed for them.
Well, and you also aren't ready to meet each other yet.
I wasn't ready.
No.
You know, when I met her in 2011, I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
She wasn't ready.
Right. But you met. Yes. But you met.
You know, the seed was planted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that dynamic has played out over and over and over again in my life, in that when I decided I was going to leave the Marine Corps and open a gym, everybody was like, dude, what the fuck do you know about business? I don't know. What do you know about running a gym? I don't know. I'm going to do it.
Again, big idea guy.
You know?
Vision.
And I had in my mind, I'm going to go to grad school first. I got into Arizona State, came up here, started school. And 2 months into my first semester of grad school, my angel investor showed up. It's like, hey, you have a talent for this. You ever think about opening your own place? I'm
You're like, as a matter of fact, yes.
I'm like, we're 2 years ahead of schedule, you know?
Yeah.
But I figured it out.
Right.
You know?
So, okay, were you able at that time to recognize that's what was going on?
Again, I've had really amazing mentors, angels, whatever you want to call them in my life. Because I waffled at the offer. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this shit. I got a lot of stuff going on. School's really important. I committed to that, you know.
Yeah.
Mycal's in Mycal's way. Mm-hmm. And the following day, I said, let's think about it. Right. Let me sleep on it.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
My first session the next day, I asked my client, said, hey, I had this opportunity on the table. It feels good, but I don't know. And he's like, so you know what's awesome about being a human being?
Like, please enlighten me.
Yeah. He's like, we figure it the fuck out.
Yep.
And when was the last time somebody offered to make your dream come true?
Hey, you can't ignore that.
I said, never. And he said, when do you think it's going to happen again? Figure it the fuck out. And here we are.
See? So many people don't listen or allow.
Yeah.
It's a gift. So you were doing it. And like you said, however you were able to understand that. You had mentors, you had angels guiding you, nudging you right on your path. But you listened.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
So the lesson there, if we're going to like crystallize this into something that is teachable, right, is following alignment.
Yep.
It's not about the timing.
It happens when you're ready for it, whether you know it or not.
Is it in alignment? You know?
Yes.
I don't know if I was ever really truly ready to be married, be a father, start a business, join the Marines, whatever. I don't know if I was ever really truly prepared to do any of that, to assume any of those roles. Right?
Right.
But every single one of them was in alignment with who a better, more evolved version of Mycal.
That's right. You stepped into it.
You just have to trust that.
Trust is everything.
Yeah.
What about you, Nicole? Are you ready?
I am.
Let's hear it.
It's actually something that I've really come to realization this year, and it's been pretty cool. I've gotten everything I've ever wanted. And it started when I was in high school. I wanted to play D1 basketball. That's all I ever wanted to do. And I didn't get any offers my junior year or senior year. And so I committed to a D3 school in Wisconsin. My mom was mad at me that I hadn't applied for any scholarships. And in my heart of hearts, it was like, I knew I wasn't going to go to that D3 school. So I wasn't going to apply for any scholarships. I went and played in an AAU tournament this summer after my senior year in high school and made it to the championship game in an AAU national tournament, was on the All-America team, and received 5 offers that summer to play D1 basketball.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Played D1 basketball for 4 years. 10 years later, I was still trying to find Nicole's kind of place in the world now after basketball. And I moved to Houston, Texas, and I was bartending because I knew that bartending, I was going to make money and I was going to meet people until I figured out what was next. And my mom would call me almost daily. Have you applied anywhere? Have you found anything? And I kept telling her, I'm like, Mom, it'll happen. I know it will. The right thing will come along. It's just not here yet. And I just kept telling her that. And I just believed it. I had no fear. I loved bartending. I was making good money. I was meeting great people. And on a Friday afternoon, I was working a lunch shift, and a gentleman was sitting at the bar, and he said to me, he's like, "You're not going to do this your entire life, are you?" I was like, "Nope, I'm just here until I figure out what's next." He said, "You come to my office on Monday. I want to interview you." In a week, I was working as a facilities coordinator at Spark Energy in Houston, Texas, which is the largest privately owned gas and electric company in the country.
Wow.
Within a month, I was the executive assistant to the CFO.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then, a couple of years later, now I'm in my mid-30s, not married. I have an amazing job. 6 months into my previous job that I had. And all my cousins are married. My brother's now met his fiance. My sister's married. She has a daughter.
Comparing.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm like the last. And I told my mom, I'm like, it's okay. I'm okay. If I don't meet him, it's okay. I'll you know what? I can adopt. Like we had started having these conversations. I was 33, 34 years old.
Right.
And I said, I don't want to get on the dating apps. I hate them. I said, if I'm going to meet him, I'm going to meet him organically, and everything will, it'll happen the way it's supposed to happen. And Mycal and I had already met in 2011, but he wasn't on my radar as like a potential.
Right.
And he messaged me on Instant Messenger on Facebook and said, hey, I'm going to be in Champaign, Illinois for this competition. I haven't seen you. It'd be great. Why don't you come down and check it out? And I was starting to get wind of CrossFit. And I was like, you know what? Let me get out of Chicago. I was living in Chicago at the time. Let me get out of the city for a weekend and just go check this out and, do something fun. Well, you know the story, but I went there, we reconnected and all the things. And I left there that weekend and I cried on the way home because I had just started this job 6 months ago that I was like, how is this going to work? But I knew that this was the man I was supposed to marry. And of course, obviously now we know what happened, but I was not ready, but this was the man I had to marry. So that's when it had to happen. And now we have 2 beautiful, beautiful children. We run a business together and everything just keeps unfolding for us. So I've really this whole manifestation thing, I tell people just keep believing in yourself and what you want and what you're capable of. Because it can happen for anybody as long as you believe hard enough.
Absolutely.
It really can.
Absolutely. And it doesn't present itself until you are ready to receive it.
Right.
So be ready.
Yeah.
Be open.
And in the meantime, enjoy life. You can't get caught up in waiting for something to happen. You just have to keep living day to day to day and enjoying life and having fun.
Yeah. Sometimes that nudge, that opportunity, that next phase, at least in my experience, oftentimes doesn't look. It's not wrapped
how
the
you
way
expect.
that you thought it was going to be.
Right.
Most of the time, it doesn't look how you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be open. You're like, wait a minute, this is not what I was looking for. But wait a minute, maybe this is exactly what I need and what I want.
Yeah. And that's why the alignment thing has been really served us Because if there's a question, because it's like, that's not how I imagined it
Right.
unfolding. Is it in alignment? Okay.
Right.
Let's go.
That's a great thing to share with people is that say, but wait a minute, is this actually what I want? Well, actually, yeah, it is. It may not look the way I was expecting, but this feels good.
Yeah.
This feels right. Trust you.
Yeah.
Because you know that's the alignment piece. It's like trust yourself, know yourself.
And I've gone against that.
Well, everybody does.
And it's been bad.
Sometimes it can hurt.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can hurt really bad.
Those lessons are always either painful or expensive, and sometimes both.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, for sure. But that's okay. They're still part of your path.
Absolutely.
They're still part of
Yes.
your story,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
they're there for reasons.
That's one of the things that we drive home for the kids. There's no losses. It's
No.
just lessons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just ways to learn where your path is, and we go on and off of it our entire lives.
You've survived every single one. You're batting 1,000 in surviving your worst days up to this point.
Right. Well, and like
Keep going.
and like Nicole said before, it comes down to gratitude. Appreciate what you do have, because we so oftentimes forget to just be grateful for what we have.
Yeah.
We all have so much.
Oh yeah.
So much. We have everything. We really, truly have everything.
Everything we
really.
need.
Right.
We have everything. But it's hard to say that when we're playing the comparing game.
Oh sure.
We all think that we don't. But we have everything we need. And when you can recognize and be grateful for what that is, it changes your life. It creates the miracles that just unfold in front of you, and you're ready to receive it. And it just shows right up for you.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
I love the adage, the days will be long, but the years are short. And if you want to, play a little thought experiment and see if time travel is real, live into that.
Yeah.
And we'll be in 2025
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow.
I know.
You know?
It is crazy. It's a time warp. Well, there is no time really anyway.
Yeah. Time is a construct.
Yes. We can get into much deeper things. And those are the types of conversations that are totally welcome here. But it's true. Time is just what we've made of it. It's not a real thing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, all of this whole existence it's just funny because we take it so seriously.
Yeah.
And it's really it's all okay.
Yeah. Perspective,
Yes.
man. You
Yeah.
know, we are tiny dots in an infinite universe. And, our time compared to the timeline of the universe is like, whoosh.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why. Well, this is another thing that I understand too, going back to manifestation, is that here in our concept of time, we have the grace of time to manifest things, which is a nice luxury, actually. Because when you're not here in this existence, you can manifest things the second it enters your head. Yeah. So you better get good at manifesting what you actually want.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you will have it in 2 hot seconds.
For sure.
When you're not here anymore. So you better be real clear of what it is that you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is what the beauty of life is. We get that grace of time to learn to be manifestors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And create our own existence of happiness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we don't have any control over where we came from or who raised us. But there is a point in time where from that moment forward, everything is your fault.
Well, we have choices.
And now you have an opportunity to unlearn all the things that are holding you back, and you can step into a better version of yourself.
Exactly. Well, and there's reasons that
that's the work.
Exactly. Well, and there's reasons that you were put there. These are lessons that you intended for yourself to learn.
Absolutely.
When you came here. So learn them, but you've learned them, move on.
Right.
Learn new things. You don't need to keep learning that. You've learned that.
Absolutely.
Move on to the next lesson. Because there's so much more to learn and experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So no need to stay stuck.
No.
Yeah. You guys are so amazing. I just love you both so much. I'm so happy that you're here. Share with everybody where they can find you, because there's so many gifts and talents that you offer to the world that people will really gravitate to. So what's the best way for them to find you, to engage with you?
Yeah. So for everybody out there that's on their journey to fitness, healing, and mindset, come see us at headquarters down here in South Scottsdale, Next Level Performance Consulting. You can find us at Next Level, P as in Papa, F as in Foxtrot, C as in Charlie, nextlevelpfc.com. And you can follow us at nextlevel_PHX. She's Nicole_Anders. I'm Coach Durs on Instagram.
Yep. Nice.
Whatever you need, we got you.
Yep.
These
We're
are
there for you.
They are truly authentic, beautiful souls that I just cherish and love. So I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you for sharing with all these people because they need this type of message. It's powerful.
Thanks
Really
for having
appreciate
us.
you.
Yeah.
Of course. So thanks for joining us today. Please, if you would do me a favor and subscribe, follow, like, comment, whatever it is, so the right people can discover and find these messages that we're trying to put out in the world because so many people need them right now. You can find more information on TammyTuesday.com. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Tammy Tuesday Life. Sending all of you lots of love and light. And remember, life, love, purpose. It all begins with you. Peace out.